Live. Well, howdy, friends and floorheads. Why does it always seem like it's been like 7 years since we've played last? I think what I
Really
love
has.
is that, with a cast that's been playing with us for so long, usually I say, let's meet just 15 minutes before we start. But with these women, I like to start with the standard 30 minutes before because I feel like everybody missed it. We recommended books and talked about movies and everything, but we are here to play some Brindlewood Bay, and we are 7 void clues into this. I misspoke at the end of last episode. If you stay for the after credits, I said that the final mystery is triggered at 10 void clues, and I was wrong. It's at 15. So we are just reaching halfway on playing, and I did a check-in with everybody, and everybody's up for still playing, so that's a good sign. I think we should just get started. All your conditions are cleared. Enough time has passed.
Yay.
Everybody's marked their XP triggers. So let's start with the fact that it's months later since last we checked in with our Mavens. And as we went into summer and we started approaching fall again, I would like to hear 4 cozy vignettes. These are moments that each of our Mavens where we get a snippet of their just regular life when they're just by themselves, kind of just being them. I think I want to start with Elsie. So Elsie, if we were to check in over the past couple months with you, what is a cozy vignette we might have seen?
Well, today I am pacing back and forth with my arms crossed, staring at the other bookstore and their signage just getting bigger and brighter and louder. And it is just annoying me a little bit more every day. And I'm really trying to kind of find that inner peace. But every time she starts to take a deep breath and she just hears another of that annoying theme song from the other bookshop. So she has been doing up her shop windows. So she's been puttering around with Poe the kitty, trailing along behind her, and she's just refreshing all of her windows, calling in favors from her more stylish friends in order to create a more visually appealing window. And that's been taking her time, is trying to one up the big corporate blah blah down the street.
We're seeing Elsie give the Crow and Quill a little zhuzh. A
Zhuzh.
little refresher. How about
Yes.
Maud? If we were to check in with Maud over the past couple weeks or so, what would we have seen? Oh, you're on mute, Maud.
There we go. Maud knows she has visitors coming, so she is trying to get the house ready. It's been a while since she's had little visitors before. Most of her grandkids are older now and heading into that college age. So she has she has hired the deputy to help her set up like a switch in the living room because she doesn't understand how it works. And so she is like kind of almost a little frantic, which is not something you normally see Maud, where she's like she's taken one of Elsie's recipes, she's trying to make some cookies, she's got, she's trying to micromanage him, which of course probably is not going very well. And she's just very like energetic, kind of expecting these kids, but
Having
not
2
really.
6-year-old twins show up is gonna
Mhm.
be it's gonna be an adventure for sure. Your niece and nephew, um, you I think have always loved them on a Christmas card
Mhm.
versus in person. So we're gonna get a chance to
Yeah.
see what it's like to see Maud taking
Well,
care of the twins.
it was different having like grandkids around when she was like 60s. Having grandkids, the little grandkids around in her like early 80s is something.
All right, Jackie. Let's check in with Jackie. What is my cozy vignette? What has Jackie been doing?
So Jackie is sitting out in her kind of falling apart greenhouse, and this time we come in with a profile angle, and she's sitting at an easel and she's painting. She's got a hot cup of coffee. Nanners is sitting in her lap, so every once in a while she's petting this cat. And then as the camera starts to move around to get kind of behind her, you see that on the easel she's drawing something strange, amorphous and dark. And then the camera continues to shift, and you see the big gilt mirror that she has. And it's pointed in such a way that she's looking at the mirror, but the mirror is reflecting the dark entity that's standing in the back of the corner watching her paint. And that's what she's trying to get down with the paintbrush.
Very nice, very nice. Last but not least, Geraldine. If we were to get a little snippet of a few moments in Geraldine's life, what do we see?
Oh my gosh, this is so funny because myself and Maud is also planning for her grandchildren to come and just brought a crap ton of candy.
Let's get them sugared up.
Candy and like some little presents. Exciting. Very rare when Maud has her family over sometimes, and they're all kind of in the same town. So after she like cleans up her bite, she goes out, grabs some candy. Kids like candy. That's great. And she's gonna put in like a little nice looking present box.
Oh, that's great.
And like a Motley Crue like record in there as well. Like a gift. I gotta start them young.
Oh, that's great. So let's bring us to now. The four of you are inside of the Candlelight Bookseller, the only other bookstore in Brindlewood Bay. And right now, it's packed. It's filled with not only locals, but with tourists. Quite frankly, this place is busier than Elsie you've ever seen it. People are almost shoulder to shoulder. There's hors d'oeuvres being passed around. There's drinks being served, wine and champagne and beer. And all of you know this, even though she's not present, right? She doesn't work at the bookstore. She's an absentee owner, but this place is owned by Eudora Mason, who everybody calls Dory. And Dory is not only the owner of the Candlelight Bookseller, but she is also the chair of the Brindlewood Bay Lunch Club, a very prestigious social gravity well here in Brindlewood Bay. So this brings me to my first establishing question. Each one of you has always kept an arm's distance with Dory, even though the residents of Brindlewood Bay love her. For each of you, what has kept you from having anything more than a cordial surface relationship with her? And I think I want to start with Jackie. So, Jackie, why have you always just never felt like you could get close to Dory?
I think Dory is the worst kind of gossip. Like, there's the gossiping you do with your friends, and then there's the gossiping that you do when you pretend you're someone's friend but really just want dirt to talk about. So none of that for Jackie.
That's not Jackie's speed. I can totally understand that. How about for you, Geraldine? I mean, you're nice to her. You wave to her when you see her on the street, but you have never let her get close or have established any type of real relationship with Dory. Why is that?
It's interesting because Geraldine feels like she flirts with everyone's husband. And that just rubs her the wrong way. Though we all gang up and pick on Maud's not that woman.
Yeah. There's a Golden Girls charm to how Maud flirts.
Yes.
Yeah, that's that woman.
Yeah,
Yes.
but Dory,
It's like
Dory's a little
alleyway.
different. Yeah.
Alleyway flirt. It's
How about for you, Maud? I mean, you are also a social gravity well here in Brindlewood Bay, much like Dory, but you have never gotten close to her. Why is that?
Because Maud's last husband, George, used to be married to Dory a long time ago.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Oh, you have shared a man with Dory. Did you
Mm-hmm.
now wait a minute. Who was married to him first? You or
George was
Dory?
married to Dory before he married me. So he
Oh.
broke up with her and then he married me. So, and that was when Maud came to Brindlewood Bay.
Oh, that's super interesting.
Yeah.
I
So
didn't know that.
she came in as like the new woman and swept him up after they had gotten divorced, and so there was always that tension. Like Maud's audacious, but not like, gonna be best friends with your ex-wife kind of audacious.
Interesting. And Elsie, for you, I mean, there's the obvious rival bookstore, though
Mhm.
Dory's not really involved. She's more of like the money behind the bookstore. So I think there might be another reason. Why is it that you've never gotten close with Dory?
Because it is all about the money with Dory. She's not doing this because of her love for the classics, the greats of literature. She is doing this to make a buck.
It's an investment.
It doesn't mean anything. So it's cold and sterile and
She
meh.
doesn't get it.
No, she doesn't
No, she
understand
just
it at
doesn't
all.
get it.
Mm-mm.
Now, as we found out at the end of last episode, Elsie found these flyers going around, and it's a flyer for a book signing that's happening right now. And the four of you couldn't help yourself. You couldn't let Elsie go alone. Elsie couldn't help herself. Maud will take any opportunity
Rebellion.
to show her face around the bookstore and remind that Dory's husband couldn't live with her, but died with Maud. And of course, Geraldine and Jackie are going to be there with their friends. You see, the Candlelight Bookstore is a cozy and inviting bookstore. And as you step inside, you're greeted by the comforting aroma of the books and the soft glow of and warm lighting. The shelves are filled with books, best-selling novels, all of the top stuff, right? So in the Crow and Quill, we're going to find the hard to find books. The books that maybe didn't make the bestseller list because it wasn't by some big name author. Only going to see the bestseller list here at the Candlelight Bookstore. It's well organized, even though as soon as we see Elsie walk in, she'll notice that that book is not quite lined up at the spine, so she can't help herself. And I'm imagining her adjusting a book here and moving a book from here to there. And despite the organized appearance, everything just has always felt off here. And not in a local bookstore versus a Barnes and Noble sort of way. It's just the place has always had a vibe. Has always had a vibe. So another establishing question about the bookstore. What is it that each of you notice about the store that explains why the Crow and Quill is more beloved by the residents of Brindlewood Bay versus the tourists who prefer the Candlelight Bookstore? We're going to start with Elsie. So what do you notice when you walk in to this bookstore that makes you go, this is why the locals come to the Crow and Quill?
The kind of like the food and beverage being offered is very expected.
How
It's
so?
it's boring and predictable, champagne and wine and little fidgety things that nobody really likes. I mean, what good is like this teeny tiny little bit? Whereas you can get homemade with love baked goods
Baked in
from me.
on the second floor, good
Mhm,
stuff,
that's
right?
right.
Excellent.
In-house all the way.
How about for you, Maud? Every time you walk into this bookstore, you can understand why the tourists may come here, but the locals know that Elsie's bookshop is the place to be.
I think that this bookstore also has its own pet, but that pet being a cat that just isn't like Elsie, you walk into Elsie's and you feel like comforted, and there's this animal and this animal is just like one of those that you see and you're not sure if it is going to like puke in your shoe before you leave, or like it is not a friendly animal at all. And there's just always this like small sense of menace from this tiny cat that lives in this place.
Well, I'm imagining, if you're new to the bookstore, you walk in and go, Is that cat winking? Oh no, it just has one eye. Okay.
Yeah, it's watching you, and like you're, yeah, it's imagining you're a mouse.
How about for you, Jackie? What is it that you notice as you walk into this bookstore that makes you understand why the locals prefer the Crow and Quill?
It's that good old fashioned big box sterility. Nothing, everything's just so clean, and there's no dust. There's no nothing. Like a good bookstore needs a good layer of dust. Like I can't with this, but it's too clean.
We need the leather, like the leather armchairs, to have that stressed leather, right? Not just the
Yes.
brand new shiny slippery leather.
Because it shows that it's loved. It's been sat in.
Exactly.
It's soft already.
Lived in. I love it. How about for you, Geraldine? What's the difference?
The furniture.
How so?
It's not welcoming. It's not comfortable. It's a quick, oh, you can sit here for maybe 20 minutes. And then it's like, oh, I got to go. It's not that longevity of, I want to be here for hours getting lost in a book.
It's so easy to lose time in the Crow and Quill, right? You take one turn and you find this little corner, and of course there's a chair there just asking to be sat in. And next thing you know, it's just like, oh my God, I've been here for 4 hours. And that just doesn't happen here. I completely get that. So the Italian novelist Claudia Oro is the author of the famous or infamous, depending on how you look at it, Black Glove Mysteries, starring the macho playboy Enzo Vitali. Each installment, Vitali investigates yet another gorgeous young woman's violent death, luring him into a psychosexual underbelly of yet another picturesque little town. Now, critics have long dismissed the series as a darker and racier imitation of the great Robin Masterson's superior Gold Crown mysteries. Even so, Claudia has enjoyed enough commercial success to justify yet another American book tour. This time, Claudia Oro is in Brindlewood Bay. The Candlelight Bookstore is her final stop in the tour. Now we're going to paint the scene. As the camera pans over Claudia's books stacked high on the display table, I'd like each of you to describe one of the covers in which it lingers and stays. How does that book cover recall one of the Gold Crown mysteries, but with a dark, pseudo-psychosexual angle? Let's start with Maud. So you look at one of the book covers, Maud, and you can see that Claudia obviously hints at the Gold Crown mysteries, but without that class. It's got this weird, just psychosexual like twist to it. What do you see? Oh, you're on mute again, Maud.
I'm so sorry. But there's a book entitled The Tides of Fate, and it has this like shipwrecked Moor look to it, except that in the Golden Crown mysteries, the Moonlight Tides, which was the original name, has like this very like haunting sort of gothic romantic look to it. But this one has this man who has like, he's clearly been in a fight. He's got his shirt off and the muscles are glistening, and the woman is like on the beach, like washed up on the beach, like, you know, like he's going to, maybe he'll save her, maybe he won't. And it loses like all of the like gothic romance of it to make it feel more like a Clive Cussler novel.
Nice. You can't put your finger on it, but it feels kind of rapey.
Yeah, a little bit.
How about for you, Geraldine? You look at the stack of books and you go, but it kind of reminds me of a Masterson novel, but there's just something kind of about it.
Right. So one of the novels that it will remind her of is called The Lost Casket. And it's based around like a morgue mystery where the front of the cover is just a mortician in front of a casket with a sad face. Very classic, very simple. And then you get to this book up front called The Death Cult. And it has your typical open casket, beautiful girl sprawled out in bondage, wearing a guy holding open the casket with no shirt on, sweaty, and just looking down.
This is amazing. I might just do the rest of the episode of describing these book covers. Oh, what does Jackie notice? Jackie, you find a cover and you're like, oh, this is why I don't read these.
Oh goodness. I think I don't know how I'm ever going to get that last one out of my head. Uh,
Well, I think, what if you're looking at the sequel? What's the sequel to the book that Geraldine saw?
oh no, I think the sequel's somehow even worse. So like I I think it's called like Amanda's Last Dance or something, and it's got the full on moment where the corpse is now out of the coffin in a beautiful gown, but just being puppeted in this beautiful macabre dance scene, and it's just too much.
Oh my God. Last but not least, Elsie, you find one that really, really just turns you off. What is it?
Oh, well, the Golden Crown mystery was called The Silent Whispers, and it was like it was a moonlit forest, with like these tall looming trees, and they're casting shadows out, and there's just a solitary figure in silhouette kind of in the foreground, and you're seeing them from behind. But on the twisted version, the new Oro,
Yeah, Oro.
yes, novel is called The Silent Screams, and it's the same, but there's a large, slightly furry figure deep in the shadows with these bright red eyes just looming over the entire scene.
That's amazing. So as you guys work your way through the bookstore and you're looking at all these covers on the tables, and really like it's super like cocktail party, just crowded, right? And you can see in the far back of the bookstore, because unlike the Crow and Quill, which is a maze of these beautiful, 10-foot tall bookshelves, this is all open concept and super sterile, as Jackie mentioned, and you can easily see the table in the back where the book signing is going to happen, and sitting there is Claudia Oro, which, even though we may not read her, we may not like her work, we've got to give her credit where credit is due. She's a former model. She's got beautiful gray hair she has dyed in this kind of like, and this is hard to do, like a classy platinum blonde. And she's got a stylish outfit on with this kind of really neat, like stone wood, chunky necklace around her. And she may be friends with Robin Masterson, which she is. They're long friends. And she may not be as good a writer as Robin, but she's always looks very put together. And you can see her, she's talking to these two men that are next to her, and we can't hear what she's saying, but she's tapping her wrist. Like, are we going to get started? What time is it? What time is it? And suddenly a person comes up to you, the four of you. And she says, I, I need to know. I need to know. And you look and you realize that this is our friend, our bakery owner. It's Melanie Blair from the contest. She goes, I just I just got the letter that they're going to have me replace him, that I'm going to be the new judge. And they said that the 4 older ladies that one of you recommended me, who I can't believe this is happening. Like, who do I thank? Which of you said that I should be the next judge for the bake-off?
Are we all 4 just kind of looking at each other and dumbfounded?
To-
I'm looking at the other
Totally.
girls like, it better be Elsie or one of you is in trouble. It wasn't me.
I'm like, totally Elsie.
It'd be Elsie.
Yeah, totally Elsie.
I'm gonna lean in to Geraldine, and I'm gonna go. Did I recommend her?
We're gonna say yes. She needs this.
Of course. No one better. No one.
And she's getting like, having somebody as talented as you think that I could be a judge on this show, and for you to put in the good word, I want you to, it means the world to me. And you can come into the shop anytime. I've got credonuts for free. Anytime you want a credonut, I've got one.
That's all right.
And as she's kind of become like the center of the 4 of yours attention, Geraldine, you feel an arm kind of circle under yours and kind of like take you locked elbows. And she goes, you ladies have got to meet these people. And all 4 of you turn and you see Salty Nancy.
Oh,
She goes, really hoping the 4 of you would come.
Let's see.
I've got 4 people you have to meet. And because Salty just can part a room just by walking through it, right? She's just got shoulders on her, and she kind of just cuts through the wake of everybody and directs you towards the center of the room. And there, the 4 of you see 4 women standing there. They've all got wine glasses. Most of them look in their like maybe young to mid 20s, and they're kind of chattering with each other. And Nancy brings the 4 of you up and says, now, Geraldine, I've just met these women, and I think you are going to be fascinated, and you are going to be fast friends. And Geraldine, I want you to meet Gertrude. And this woman turns around and looks at you, Geraldine, and she's a tall woman. She's got this beautiful smooth skin and full tattooed sleeves that you can see because her t-shirt, long sleeve shirt is pulled up right mid-arm, and you can see these beautiful tattooed etching sleeves that she's got. She's wearing a worn leather jacket, and instead of carrying a purse like many of the women in the place are, she's carrying a motorcycle helmet.
Okay.
And she turns to you. She goes, "Oh, Maya. Well, is this the woman you said I needed to meet, Nancy?" She goes, "Oh yes, you're going to absolutely love her." And she goes, "I hear you like motorcycles too."
I do like motorcycles. I see you have a helmet with you.
I do, and I would love it because Nancy told me all about you. She said that you fix bikes. And
Yeah.
I've just gotten started getting into motorcycles, and I've got a couple books on how to how the engines and stuff work. And is there any way that maybe
Yes.
after all of this is done, we could go out
Yes.
and look at my bike?
Absolutely. 100%.
So while that conversation is happening between Gertrude and Geraldine, another woman locks eyes with Jackie, and she says, "Let me introduce myself. My name is Jacqueline." Now, she's this incredibly well put together woman, maybe like 22, 23, very fashionable glasses, large rim, fashionable glasses. She's holding a book titled Finding the Best Finds, a Guide to Antiquing in New England. And she says, Nancy tells me that you love antiquing.
Yes, and I love that book. Have you read the 3rd edition? That's outdated, sweetheart.
Oh, no, I've only got the 2nd edition. Do you think that they might sell it here? There's a whole section on antiquing. Will you come with me?
No. We can get out of here later, and I will take you to the best bookstore. You're not going to find anything except for bestseller nonsense here.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that. And I think Maud is a little surprised when you come face to face with a woman who introduces herself to you. Her name is Meredith. She's slightly older than the others, maybe in her early 30s. She's dressed in a Gucci top with a Versace scarf. Her Prada bag must be limited edition. You've never seen that one before. And her Chew shoes are the star of the outfit. And she kind of looks you up and down and she goes, "My dear, you might be the most put together woman in this place."
Honey, if you keep talking like that, we're gonna be best friends now, aren't we?
she notices a piece of jewelry on you, Maud. What does she notice? And what does she comment on?
Maud is wearing a bracelet that has several pieces of lapis that are wound around like a silver lattice that she got from her third husband.
And she asks if she can look at it and she can touch it. And she is
Yeah.
she is fawning over just your entire situation, Maud. Just fawning over you. And then there's one person left who kind of is invisible at first, being taken over by these three other very large personalities. But Elsie, you kind of see her kind of come out from the shadows behind them all. And Nancy goes, "Eliza, I need you to meet my friend Elsie." Now, Eliza looks very different than her friends. She's kind of a hipster and she's in one of those like Baja hoodies. She's got very dark, thick black hair. And she looks and she goes, "My God, that might be the greatest bag I've ever seen."
I made this bag.
It looks like it could hold the universe.
It does hold the universe.
Do you have a pattern?
No.
Can you at least tell me where you got the material?
I just kind of had it lying around. I think I've got some extra fabric.
Well, if you're up for it, I've got a little extra too, and maybe we could trade.
You want to get out of here?
So, as all of that happens, we see a gentleman kind of like try to get the attention of the front, and he's standing right in front of Miss Oro. Handsome man, maybe in his early to mid 60s, and he stands up and he goes, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dominic Batt. I'm an editor for Miss Oro, and I apologize for this delay. We want to start the signings. The photographer is late. As soon as the photographer gets here, we will, of course, get started. But please continue. Enjoy the champagne, enjoy the canapes and other hors d'oeuvres, and we will get started. You, of course, can pick up any of the books on the tables, and they can go ahead and take care of your purchase here at the front desk. And of course, Miss Oro will be happy to sign it and personalize those books for you. And we slowly hear the din of the conversations come back up again.
And grab a beer off a passing waiter.
So, of the people we have met and spent time with here in Brindlewood Bay, I'd like to know, is there anyone in particular that we see in the crowd that we wanted to come up to? Is there anybody? Go ahead, Geraldine.
Give me a second. Would we see, and I might be making the name wrong, Greg's wife?
Oh, Mrs. Shipley. Yes, of course. In fact, Amanda Shipley is by herself, and you can see her sipping, it looks like a rosé. She's kind of off in the corner a little bit, Geraldine. No one seems to be really talking to her though.
I'll go over and talk to her. Just to say hello.
She goes, "Oh, Geraldine, it is, right?
Yes.
You know, you don't have to come talk to me. It's okay."
Yeah, but yeah, I'm going to anyway. How are you holding up?
Holding up okay. Holding up okay. It's funny. People pay me a lot to come and sit and talk to me for an hour at a time about their life and about their marriage, but somehow when I'm just here, you know, nobody ever wants to talk to me for free. So I appreciate you coming by.
Oh. If you ever need me to return the favor, I don't mind sitting and listening to you for free. No charge.
You genuinely, and maybe for the first time, you genuinely see Amanda laugh. Like we see just for the first time, just a certain, like, the veneer comes off, right? She's always kept a rigid back and always tried to be so proper. But Geraldine, you kind of crack into that a little bit, and you find that special moment. Elsie, we see Dory. Dory's here. And she seems to be holding court, kind of off behind the front counter. Um, you look and you see who she's holding court with, though. You see her there. A couple gentlemen that you recognize from around town. Oddly, you see Maud's favorite landscaper, Mr. Mason. He seems to be very much in deep conversation with Dory. And Salty Nancy, as she kind of like tries to corral you back from talking to your four new friends, your four younger, oddly familiar friends. Nancy goes, "Geraldine, I'd like for you to talk to somebody if we could."
Wow, what's up?
It's about what we've been talking about. You read the book, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, I'd like you to meet somebody.
Okay, sure.
And we see Nancy leading Geraldine over to Dory. And as you get closer, Geraldine,
Mm-hmm.
you can hear Dory just kind of go, and Nancy comes up and she goes, Miss Mason, I'd like for you to meet Geraldine Richards. She's the woman I've been talking about. Dory stands and she goes, "Oh, yes, Miss Richards. Nancy, we know each other. So this is the one that you think could potentially become a midwife of the Fragrant?" Does she understand what we do? Nancy says, "Well, I haven't. I've told her that we're very interested in the history of Brindlewood Bay and that we're a preservation society." Dory kind of eyes you up and down, Geraldine, and she goes, "I don't know, Nancy. I feel like her and her friends might be a little bit more troublemakers than the midwives of the Fragrant Void would be interested in joining their ranks. So, Geraldine, it's lovely to see you again, but Nancy, I think the eyes have other purposes for Geraldine and her friends." And you see Nancy is very embarrassed, Geraldine. And she kind of turns to you and she doesn't quite know what to say.
Now, I'm going to sit here and disagree with that.
How so? Miss Richards?
Well, number one, we're not troublemakers. Things tend to find us, and we fixed everything that we stumbled upon.
And I'm not saying anything by saying this, but I consider it troublesome that if I were to look at the last 3 murders that have happened here in Brindlewood Bay, somehow the 4 of you ladies have always been very close. We go 2 decades without a single murder here in Brindlewood Bay. And suddenly the 4 of you women start your little book club, and residents and visitors start dropping like flies. I'm not saying anything by what I'm saying.
Well, I would say this about preserving Brindlewood Bay is that we're doing what our local law enforcement cannot, which is why you often hear about us.
See this, Nancy, this is why I don't think Miss Richards and her friends can be members, because it's obvious, and this is no offense, Miss Richards, but she doesn't understand the history. And you could tell by the way she just talked about it. She doesn't understand the rich history that founded Brindlewood Bay, that has been asleep under Brindlewood Bay for so long. And she just, I'm sorry, Nancy. I am so sorry. And Nancy goes, can you just give me a minute? And she steps away, and you kind of step away, and you see Nancy just frantically talking with Dory, and you return back to your 3 mavens who saw all of this happen.
God, what a complete
That looked
bitch. Super
What?
She
dick.
looks so snooty.
She was. Oh, I should punch Salty in her face.
Oh,
Ah,
mean-
can I go with you when you do that?
no, Salty's good.
Oh, you-
Oh my God! Wait, I haven't actually told y'all anything. That's fine. We'll
Told us
talk
what?
about that.
Listen, if you
When?
need to, you can mention that mole she's got down like right there by the top of her. I mean, like, I'm just saying, if you want to
What?
slide that casually in the conversation,
Right,
without-
bring her down a peg or 2.
yeah, absolutely.
Smart. Here,
Here,
you take this. I'm going to give you a little piece of jet. This is really good for channeling those darker emotions. So fold your little hand around it.
well, I have questions of why you're carrying this.
I don't.
I'm just going to pull out like handfuls of stones. Wait, you don't have
You know, somehow I'm so
these are
surprised.
important to life.
Yes,
Put them back. Massive
Oh,
ass.
no, I want the pink. Oh.
Oh yeah, you got Angela.
So we hear the clap again from Dominic, the editor, and he says, ladies and gentlemen, fans of the Black Gloves, I don't think we can wait. I think we're going to go ahead and get started without the photographer. Please, for those of you that have books with receipts, please, you can form the line here. And Miss Oro is happy to start signing. Did any of you bring or buy a book to get signed?
Of course not.
I'm looking at my doppelganger here. You got
Yeah.
a book? Did you actually pick one of these up?
And she turns to you, Jackie, and she goes, "Oh, I don't read this garbage."
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Robin Masterson?
Gold Crown Mysteries.
Oh my God.
I've read them all. I've even read the ones that are out of circulation.
Twice.
I think the 8 of us should get dinner.
I'm slightly
Right
creeped
now?
out by you, but yes, we can do dinner.
Me and Eliza both pull out a piece of like jade. This is really good for bonding. Oh my gosh. We exchange pieces of jade.
And the only thing as the 8 of you in pairs are really hitting it off, and Jackie's not the only one that sees kind of the mirror that's happening here. I think it has to be Jackie that notices. Jackie, I mean, don't get me wrong, Jacqueline's phenomenal, right? All of these young little women are just phenomenal, but it does put you off a little bit, because if there's one person who seems very interested in the conversation that the 8 of you are happening, it's Dory. And Dory's doing the best she can to not act like she is paying attention to how the 8 of you are getting along, but you can definitely tell she is. So as the book signing continues, we see the lines go up. Claudia is wonderful. She's very effusive to each of her fans, signs the books. At one point, and Elsie, you know this person, a guy named Anthony Wilkes, who is one of those mystery fans that's just, he's a lot. And, is always first in line to get the newest edition, either at your bookstore or at here. He knows all the books and just goes on, and he's of course first in line, right? And ties up poor Claudia for a good 4 or 5 minutes, explaining to her about the book she wrote, right? Like any true fan would. And you also notice Elias Vicario, who is this kind of mousy little man in his early 20s. He works the counter here, but you also know him by his drag name, Flagrante Delicato, and he performs under the coffee shop at the club there. So he's there, and he's checking everybody out. What happens though is Janet Flock, who's the manager, really the person who loves the bookstore and takes care of the bookstore, you hear what we knew was coming. We hear her scream. And she bursts in from the back door of the bookstore, and she goes, "Oh my God, she's dead."
No,
Like,
no,
who's
no,
missing
no.
from the room? I'm
Not
looking around. Who's dead?
again.
You do a quick
Aw.
inventory, Jackie, and everybody who was here is still here, except there was somebody who was supposed to be here and didn't make it.
The photographer?
Photographer.
I don't know.
Dun, dun,
I'm
dun.
just going.
Let's go. It's instinct
Yeah,
by
let's
now.
go.
We're
Yeah,
just
Second nature.
So
I think Maud will take Meredith by the arm, and she'll say, "Honey, this is gonna be fun."
and she's all getting ready to go.
Yeah.
You head out to the alleyway behind the bookstore, and there we can see Scarlett Whatley face down in the alley. Now, Scarlett Whatley is a middle-aged woman who really is the event photographer of Brindlewood Bay, weddings, just anything. You would always hire Scarlett. And we can see her face down in the alley. Her blonde hair is fanned dramatically across the asphalt, and her bright blue dress is marred by this crimson gash in her back. And judging by the size of the ever-expanding pool of blood, the murder likely occurred just before the event was scheduled. So it didn't happen that long ago. And it's obvious to you, Maud. Nearby, you see a small calling card with the words Club Silencio on it, embossed on it. And Club Silencio is this kind of underground cabaret nightclub that's under the Italian coffee shop down the road. It's where our friend performs in the evenings. On the other side of the card, as you lift it up, Maud, it says, "For you, Claudia Oro." Let's go to break. We'll be back in 10 minutes. I know. A myrtle in Brindlewood Bay. Very shocking. So Maeve, you find that card by your feet, and as you look up from the body, you see a new face. And this is somebody that you have heard about, but it's somebody you have not met yet. It's a younger woman in her late 20s. She is stiff-backed in a all-black version of the sheriff's uniform. She's got very slicked back, short black hair. It is Erica Valentine, who is a recent hire to the sheriff's department, hired as specifically as an investigator to look into what could be behind this murder spree that seems to be happening here in Brindlewood Bay. And as she sees you turn over the card to read the note, this is for you, Claudia Oro. She says, "Put that down. That is evidence."
I think
Love
that
a woman in
Maud will.
uniform.
Maud will look up at her, look at the note card, and just hand it to her. Not drop it, just hand it to her. I've already picked it up.
And as she hands it to you, she goes, she reaches into her inside of her jacket, and she pulls out an evidence bag. She goes, "Put it in there, please."
There you go,
Finally,
honey.
someone who knows what they're doing.
And she zips it up, and it's got like that red area to put on. She pulls a marker out, and she writes it down on the marker, and she goes, "I'm going to need you to come by the station so I can get your fingerprints, so I can eliminate it from the other fingerprints that could be potentially on this card, ma'am."
Done.
Whoa.
Absolutely. Anything you need, honey.
And she folds it up and she puts it back inside. And there's a
Oh,
crowd.
she's already in the system.
Probably.
So
Maud had an interesting past.
the four of you were the first ones out, but we're starting to see the rest of the onlookers starting to gawk through the door and kind of crowd through the door. And Erica, investigator Erica, is like, "Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to stay out of this alley. I need these four older ladies to move along. This is evidence. This is a crime scene, and I need everybody to clear out. I don't know how things have been done before I got here to Brindlewood Bay, but things are different now."
Badly.
Really bad.
Really bad. Yeah.
So, ladies, I need you to move along. You can head out to the street there, please.
Maud
I wanna
pats
do
her
a
on the
thing.
arm and goes. Maud pats her on the arm and goes, "Honey, you are doing a great job. Keep it up."
Really. Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you actual food.
This is great. I'm actually gonna.
She's putting
I
us
can
out of
go.
the
We can
job
go
and trying to
home
cover
this
their
time.
mouths.
No, we can just go.
And
I've got
she
cookies.
kind of recoils from your touch a little bit, Maud.
Interesting. Maud is also give Jackie a look of like, if you want to do something, now is the chance while I'm
I
distracting
want
this
a
woman.
medal. I want a medal.
Yeah,
I'm gonna,
Yeah.
This is
I'm a medal.
this reminds me of something that happened to Amanda Delacour in book 13, the super fan. Like there's no way this is a total reenactment, right? Like there's gonna be a clue underneath the body. I just know there is.
So we have Maud and kind of Elsie and Geraldine kind of surrounding investigator Erica. What is Jackie doing?
I'm getting over there. I'm trying. I want to move the body. I'm meddling. I'm trying to get past her. I know there's gonna be something under the body. You trust me on this.
All right, so let's
Like
do a meddling move, and let's do it with I'm fine with either. No, I think it's either composure or reason. What's your approach here?
Okay. I think it's going to be reason because I firmly believe that this is an intentional reenactment because we know that this author has been ripping off our favorite author. So this is a gift from a super fan to help her create that particular book. But I don't think it's the author though because it's missing that psychosexual thing so far. but we'll find out when we look underneath the body.
All
So
right.
I'm going to use reason, but I believe as per the rules, if you use the Gold Crown Mystery move, you take a 12 plus.
Oh, so you are going to go ahead and use the move.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice. I like
so
it.
no roll needed. We are going to go ahead and make that a success because you are leaning on your knowledge of the Gold Crown mysteries. So no roll needed. You adeptly are taking advantage of every split second because Erica, the entire time that she's being talked to by the three other ladies, is trying to keep her eyes on the crime scene. And every time a head breaks line of sight with her, you're down there and investigating. You notice something. Obviously, the murder was recent. The blood coming from her, from the gash in her back, is like the heart is still pumping, and the blood is still spreading. What's odd is she's got these thick-heeled pumps on. And when you look at those pumps, you realize that there's a secret compartment at the bottom of the right heel. And you flick your thumb and it slides out, and something drops out of the secret compartment in her heel, and you immediately put it in your pocket. We're going to find out later what that is that you found. But the clue is a leather pump with a secret compartment in the heel.
Ooh.
Now for the 12 plus. As that drops into your hand and you put it into your pocket, you stand up to not be seen, right? Not to be seen as meddling, which is exactly what you were doing. You look down at the reflective pool of blood. And you see the sky, the afternoon sky above it. And slowly, little eyes open up in the reflection. Every one of them blue like the sky. And you look at the cobblestone alleyway, and each of the creases that connects the cobblestones, the grout, you see little eyes open up and stare at you. These little blue eyes. They're on the bricks. You look at the little object in your hand, and a little blue eye pops up. You look up at the back of Maud's head as she's talking to this investigator, and little blue eyes are peeking out from her hair, and you kind of shake your head a little bit and blink, and everything is back to normal.
Oh no. Jackie has a headache.
Ooh.
This woman's heart is still beating. This is technically not a murder scene yet. You might want to do something about that. Jackie needs to sit down.
And Erica goes, ladies, and she pushes her, and she goes, oh my God, I think you might be right. And she goes down, she's checking her pulse, and she goes, and she looks up at you kind of inquisitively, and she goes, ma'am, did you work in the medical field? She is dead, but you're right. She's still warm. Looks at you, Jackie.
Call an ambulance.
Is she
Gonna run
is her heart
interference.
beating?
Someone call the police now. I'm worried.
Like putting pressure on the wound, like trying to help.
So for those of you that are keeping track of the void clues, we just got our 8th void clue, which is
Oh.
one by one, blue eyes open on every surface.
Dislike.
So Erica's doing her best to take control of this situation. She's now shooed the three of you away. She's made it very clear with a glaring stare, Jackie, that you need to be stepping away from the body. I want to know what my 4 mavens are going to do.
Okay.
Metal.
Well.
We do
Okay.
metal.
We have an antagonist in our story now who's helping.
No, I'm making a
So-
scene. I'm making a scene about. It works well because for a moment there, Jackie was having a hard time with all of the eyeballs. So I'm making a scene and like popping a squat and like acting like I'm. Nope. I might be having a stroke. I can't move.
and like piercing through the crowd comes Janet Flock, the manager, and she goes, "Oh my God, Miss Smith," and she kind of like cradles and catches you, and she goes, "Are you okay? Can somebody get her some water? Somebody get her some water."
Bourbon.
I think Maud will make her way to Claudia. Since Claudia is still in the shop, Maud is going to like beeline for. This is clearly we like. Jackie knows this is a setup of another story, so Maud is going straight to the source. So Maud is going to like once again like hook the arm of her new best friend Meredith and use Meredith's smaller like younger body as a wedge to get through the crowd to get back to class.
And Maud, you're working your way through the crowd, and you can see, you know, people whispering into Claudia's ear, and Claudia is very interested in what's happening outside of the door, but she's being protected and shielded by these few men that were next to her at the table. And you and your new friend are starting to work your way through, and you hear a voice. It's little Brayley. And Brayley goes, "Auntie Maud, we're out of candy." And you look down and you see your niece and nephew, Jackson and Brayley, the 6-year-old twins. And they're both
Oh,
there
boy.
with these little bags that have like these puff magic designs drawn on them by Elsie. And they're both handing him. She goes, "Auntie Maud, we're out of candy."
She would kind of look at them and go,
"Braxton, stop touching."
Where in the blue blazes did y'all come from?
"You told us to go to the corner and eat the candy.
Mm-hmm.
And we're out of
You're right.
candy."
Come on, honey, I'll help you out. And she begins to lead them to the very sad display at the.
And Elias, the nice mousy young man that works behind the counter, comes up and goes, "Miss McAllister, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry, but they're too young to be here. We're serving alcohol. You can't have children in here."
Just give me a couple cookies and we'll call it. Don't worry about it.
No. You and are these your great grandchildren? Who are these?
They're mine. They're part of. Don't worry about it. Just give me some cookies, or. And she looks down at the two of them. I'd get the cookies now. I promise you.
I need a day move. I need a day move from Maud. Maud, I need a day move from you, and I need this to be with. I think this is with presence. I think you're trying to take control of the situation with the power of your personality. So give me a day move with presence.
Correction. I'm trying to take control of this with the power of their personality.
Ooh, okay.
Which did not work. That is a 4.
So really uncharacteristically, we're seeing Elias be a little bit more authoritative than this mousy little man would normally be, unless he's on stage in his alternate personality, in his alternate ego. He goes, "Miss McAllister, I don't want to create a scene, but I do need you and the children to leave."
Oh, can I create a scene? Oh no, I'm creating a scene outside already.
You're
No.
outside.
Okay.
I
One-
can help.
One scene at a time, Jackie.
She will.
So Maud, knowing, like, I feel like you often do an amazing job of kind of taking over a situation, and even somebody who does not have a powerful personality like Elias is not. And I don't know if it's because of the kids or what, but I want to get this. What are you feeling right now? Just realizing that whatever powers you normally have are not working.
Yeah, I think she's shocked. I think she is just dumbfounded for a second. And she kind of like, there's a moment of just like, you know what? And then she looks down at the kids, looks up at him with the wickedest grin you could ever possibly imagine, looks down at them and go, so this man is just not going to be able to get you any cookies, boys. I am so sorry. And then looks straight at him and crosses her arms and
And
waits.
they start throwing a fit, and both little Brayley and little Jackson, after throwing a fit, start beelining it for the front door. So your niece and nephew, who are you responsible for, are now headed out into the streets of
Yep.
Brindlewood Bay. I need you to add a condition. The condition is shocked.
Shocked, yes. And she will obviously follow them out, but she is going to give him the most hurt look she could possibly give a human being.
Let's cut back into the alleyway where we have Geraldine, Elsie, and Jackie. Jackie, you are verklempt and being helped by our manager Janet. What is Elsie and Geraldine doing?
Oh, I'm helping add oil to the fire, gasoline to the fire. Everyone get back. She's passed out and needs assistance.
And poor Erica Valentine is like, I need this to be happening there, not here, there.
I can't lift her up. I'm so old.
And I'm going to use this to see if I can find any sort of where somebody may have retreated from the situation. See if there's any like trails where I can follow somebody away from the crime scene.
So kind of poking around the alleyway a little bit, Elsie?
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, let's do a meddling move with reason.
Okay.
Roll better than I did.
I'm gonna try.
Moderately. You got it. There you go.
So Elsie, you start kind of poking around.
Yeah,
and you let me think. I'm going to cut back to you. And talk about what you found. I want to find out what Geraldine is doing. So Geraldine, Elsie is kind of distracting herself, going over there. You're creating a bit of a scene. So both Jackie and Geraldine, as you guys are kind of being pushed out, we see Sheriff Dalrymple now appearing on the scene, coming through the book. So then he goes, ladies, I appreciate everything you've done, but we now have we've brought Erica Valentine up from Boston, and I think she's going to be able to handle any other murders that may be happening here. So if I can help you,
but Sheriff, the woman isn't fully dead yet, and she has yet to call the ambulance.
We don't have ambulances yet. I think if we can get the ice truck here, we can potentially transport her. But here, and Jackie, Sheriff Dalrymple, God bless him, he's about to like carry you, like firemen carry you. He's putting his arms under your knees and around your back, and it looks like he's about to lift you and carry you out of this alleyway.
I'm gonna be undignified, and I'm going to go full ragdoll, just dead weight, and be as heavy and awkward as humanly possible. Just trying to stall a little bit longer so we could see a little bit more of what's happening with that corpse. Maybe see another clue. I can't help myself.
And you could tell like he was going to try to be like a very, very leading man, right? And he puts his arms under you, and he goes, "Oh, you're a lot. I don't want to be indelicate. You're more than I anticipated." And he goes, Brett, I'm going to need your help, Brett. And then, of course, our favorite deputy, our himbo, he steps out. Why can they not get him a sheriff's uniform that fits?
I'm so distracted.
Every one of those buttons are strained across his chest. Ah, I'll
That's
be
why I
able to
only
help.
got partial.
And he comes out. So let's cut back to Elsie going through, and you are looking at looking in the alleyway, and you see bundled up trash. You can see that the dumpster hasn't been emptied in a while. The sanitation department at Brindlewood Bay, we probably need a letter to the editor. They should be keeping stuff like this much cleaner here in Brindlewood Bay. But something, you get a glint. Something shines, and as you push an old newspaper aside, you see a sapphire necklace, and you pick it up, kind of look around, make sure nobody sees you, and as you pull it closer, you then suddenly realize, oh, it is a sapphire necklace, but it's costume jewelry, and it definitely does not belong here. So this is the second clue. So you've got two clues now. We got the leather pumps with a secret compartment in the heel, which Jackie found something inside of it. And now we have a broken sapphire necklace that is actually costume jewelry.
So it has been broken.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
Maud, you come out to the front door of the booksellers, and Jackson and Braley are running up the street, and you can see Jackson pushing his sister, and then you see Braley pushing Jackson, and there's a really good chance someone's about to get pushed into the middle of the road.
Maud will put on the grandma voice, and she will say, "You two better stop where you are right now, or there will be hell to pay, and I promise, if I have to run to catch up with you."
Like statues, they both freeze in their tracks. They don't even turn around and face you.
And she will stomp up to them, and she will say, "All right, we're going to teach you how to get into good trouble for us. Now, come on."
And as you gather them around, one of the men that you noticed behind the table next to Claudia comes up to you. And you didn't recognize him at first. But now that he's kind of out of the context of the bookstore and not like part of the whole routine, right? Of being next to Claudia in this whole book signing, you realize that, you do know him. And he's a very handsome man in his early to mid 60s, right around Claudia Ora's age. And it's Frank Francini. He's the Italian owner of the Italian coffee shop, which is above the club where you found the embossed card from. And he goes, "Maud, do you have a second?"
She'll look down give the two twins a very meaningful look, and she'll say, "Yes, I think I do."
I think you and your friends have done amazing work. I've been following your work and the solving of the mysteries and the murders that have been happening here. And I don't know who this new person is that's working, but we all know Sheriff Dalrymple will not be able to figure
Bless
out
his heart.
who murdered Scarlett Watley. Is there any chance that we could depend on the four of you ladies to figure this out? Because I know for a fact, you know about Claudia and I, right? You know that her and
Yeah.
I.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
of
has-
course. Yeah.
She's been getting threatening letters for weeks now. And I fear that it's not just Scarlett, who's obviously was in danger, but I worry that Claudia is in danger as well.
Is there any way you could have Miss Aura meet us over at the Quill and Crow later on this evening once all this circus is calmed down and I got these two little shits to bed, and then we can figure out from there?
If you can just make sure that she doesn't get tangled up in this. Yes, I can make sure she comes to the Quill.
It'll be. Thank you. Thank you. That's all we need. And then hopefully we'll be able to figure this out for you, honey. Don't you worry.
Is there anything that my mavens want to do before we cut to our evening meeting with Claudia Oro?
I'm gonna load those kids up with cookies,
Oh
brownies,
yeah.
and fudge. I'm gonna give them so many sugary treats.
Yeah.
So-
That
give
by
them
the
their
time
best
Claudia's
candy.
there, they're crashed.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I'm wondering is I suspect that Elsie hires a babysitter for the twins. So, Elsie, who do you reach out to babysit?
Other than Poe, who do I reach out to babysit? I reach out to our young Mr. Landscaper. Remind me of his name. He has a younger sister that babysits. She's only like 15, so she does it for like $20.
Yeah, Delilah
absolutely.
Mason. She's been trying to make a name of her
Yep.
for herself as a babysitter, and she is she's one of those people that like you look at and you go, you are going to grow up to be a handsome woman, right? She's just a sweetheart, much like her older brother is. She at one point, she goes, oh, these are the niece and nephews of Miss McAllister. My brother will not shut up about her.
Oh yeah.
He talks about her a
Something-
lot.
I know. If it makes you feel any
Sometimes when
better,
he's
she
sleeping.
never talks about him.
So luckily, Elsie arranges for a babysitter for Jackson and Brayley. So let's
I send her home with some really good fresh bread that I know her family likes as well.
When the
Let's-
babysitter gets her, I'm like, don't worry, I've already got them settled. They're watching movies, they're totally fine. And in the
You hear him
background, you hear
screaming in the
it.
background.
You hear Pennywise laughing in the background.
we see the red balloon.
They're
I'll slip
fine.
both of them another bag of candy as well.
Miss Smith, I
Those kids
don't
got so much.
I don't like sewer drains.
You gotta toughen them up when they're young. Trust me, this formative experience children walk all the way to the end.
we see the on the inside from the Crow and Quill, we see the open, right? We can see the open because the other side that says closed is facing outward. And the four of you are in the Crow and Quill. And it's 8:30. The shop closes at 8. And we hear a little tap on the window.
Who the hell is that?
That's gonna be Miss Oro.
Miss
you'll
what?
you'll like this.
You
You'll like this one.
in my
Yeah,
shop.
hold on. Yep, hold on. You'll like this.
Um,
And I'll open the door and let her in. Just hold on. You'll love it. I promise.
you just opened my door. Okay.
So
Yeah.
Claudia is there. And we also see, of course, Frank. And Frank goes, just trust me, sweetheart. Trust me. They'll be able to figure this all out.
Will you get off the street before somebody starts talking? Come on.
So Claudia slips in and she says, this is a gorgeous bookstore.
Oh. Thank you.
It's beautiful. And I love that you feature Robin's work because you have a table with a gold
She's
crown
brilliant.
mysteries.
Yeah, she's brilliant.
I think you should reach out to Robin. I think she would be flattered
What?
to know that such a charming small
Oh.
bookstore like this it features her work like this.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That would be something.
And
Wow,
Maud
she's
is like
not-
behind Claudia, giving Elsie a look of like, I fucking told you.
Do you
Um,
tea? Would you like some tea? It's been a long day. Yes.
If you have a espresso,
I do. A what?
espresso.
I was supposed to
I
do tea.
I have tea. I
Mm.
have black tea.
If
And
tea's
I
fine.
have-
Tea's fine. No
Oh.
cream, no sugar, please.
Okay. Great. I'll
So-
bustle off to make tea.
My
So, ladies, what I was understanding is that Miss Claudia here has some information that she might be able to give us if we can help her out. Apparently, we might have been right on our basic estimation of what was going on earlier.
so I really am not clear. So Frank told me that the four of you work for the sheriff's department. I don't really understand why I'm here.
Consider us outside consultant, honey.
Consultant.
What we do is, what we do is we can ask questions that they tend to miss.
Wouldn't ask me questions. I'm not a suspect, am I?
Absolutely not, but we can figure out what's going on
you?
and hopefully keep you safe.
Maybe.
Okay. I am due back. Frank and I are having dinner at the Blue Velvet in about 20 minutes. So
Ooh,
whatever questions you have,
fancy.
please.
Here, have a seat. Get comfortable. I know you don't have long, but here, drink this. Enjoy.
And she sits down and
And-
she
and-
kind of does a cursory smell and like a polite doesn't sip but looks like a sip, and she sets it down.
It's really good.
And Maud will kind of look over at Jackie like, all right, now this is your show. Like, this is where Jackie goes.
Do you have those threatening letters we heard you've been getting? Did you keep?
Of course not. No, they were. I get letters all the time, and
Threatening
Threatening
letters?
letters?
no, but so I write about the racier side of love.
Oh yes, you do.
We know.
So it's not odd for me to get odd letters, fetish letters, things like that.
Do you keep
Right.
those?
She blushes a little bit. She
does.
She goes, no, but I do read every single one of them. But these letters were different. They seem to be letters saying if you won't recognize what is happening, then I will have to show you. And just they just made me feel unsafe. And it's hard for me to explain. They were different, and they felt I felt less safe, which is, part of the reason that I chose Brindlewood Bay to end my tour, because I knew Frank would be here, and I planned on spending the rest of the summer here with Frank, and I just I don't know what else to tell you.
When did you announce the change in your final date? How long did everyone have to prepare for you being here?
So this is, I hadn't thought about this, but this was originally not part of my schedule. It was I kept it off the schedule for a good bit of time, trying to remember when we finally put it on the schedule. I need a meddling move. What do we think we're doing this with, Jackie?
Ooh. I don't know. I'm just kind of grilling her. So composure, maybe, or reason.
I'm good with composure.
Oh, I didn't do the thing. It doesn't matter. It's terrible.
What's the thing?
I didn't hit the meddling move button.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, composure. You got your +2, even with the +2. What did you roll? I missed it.
Total
3 and a
6.
1, a 4 + 2 is a 6, is a miss. Do we wish to put on a crown
Ooh.
to turn that into a success?
I love crowns. I will put on a crown. Let's see what kind of crown we have. And I could just pick. Is this is a crown of the queen, right?
It can be either one, so you can pick any crown on the list. It's just you're out of the mystery once you use your final crown, so you're gonna not want to use your final crown unless it's the finale, and
Uh,
you don't have to tell me which one. We'll just mark
I'll
it.
pick
We'll
one.
get it.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna mark something and then I'll change it later.
All right, beautiful. So she says, it was late, and I don't think. Hold on a second. And she has like a small little purse, and she reaches in and she goes, now that I think about it, it was almost within 24 hours that I got this note from when I scheduled Brindlewood Bay. And she hands you the note, and you unfold the note and you look at it, and in perfect Italian it says, "I fini giustificano I mesi," which luckily, Jackie, you are fluent in Italian.
Of course I am.
So the translation is, the ends justify the means. And it's all done in like different magazine letter cutouts, so not handwritten. So this is your third clue. It is an anonymous message in perfect Italian that translates to, the ends justify the means. And I got
May
this.
I interject? Sorry.
Please.
No. While I heard you mentioned she had a little purse, has she set it on the floor next to her?
Oh, she did. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. So after
That
she
is
pulls this out, she
amazing.
sets the purse down and she hands it to Jackie, and she's very focused on Jackie
Great.
reading it.
Great.
And
I
you speak
am
Italian,
going.
right, Miss Smith? Or do you
I
need me to
do-
translate this for you?
No, I've got it. It's curious. It's written perfectly. This doesn't look like a textbook translation. This is fluent.
So she's super focused on Jackie, Elsie.
I'll church it up too.
I am going to use my Maven move.
Ooh.
And I am going to have Poe just come over to her bag and just give it a little paw and see if there's anything
So
interesting in there.
for those watching, can you tell us what the Maven move is and what it does?
Yes. So it's the Gordon Shumway. Yes. And you have a feline friend with whom you share a strong bond. This extraordinary kitty can do tricks and follow simple commands. Name your kitty, who is Poe, and he lives in my cozy little place. And when I use the cat, I can get advantage on a roll.
Ooh, so let's do a meddling move. Ooh, this is a good one. This is a good one. What do we want to do this with, though?
Reason, possibly?
I'm thinking reason or presence. Which one do you like better?
Let's do presence.
How does...
I like that.
Oh, you didn't do it with advantage. So you got to mark advantage, and then click on the move. So yep. So when you go to the moves, you see how you can toggle advantage.
No.
All right, hold on one second.
I was just gonna roll it twice.
So,
and see what
that's okay. You
happens.
go to moves, and then you see where it says roll mode under that. It says normal,
Moves and
advantage,
roll
disadvantage.
I do not see that. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. So you have description, moves, and equipment, right?
Aha, 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 aha.
If you click
I
moves,
found.
click on advantage, and then you're going to choose the meddling move, and you're going to click on the little icon.
Yes.
And then that should roll for us 3 dice.
The icon.
And yep, so a little icon to the left of the move. If you float over it, it looks like an eye.
It is. Ha 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 ha. Yes, of course. Presents. Sorry, I've only been playing this forever now.
So I've got 2 questions for you. The first question is how does Elsie signal to Poe? How does Elsie communicate to Poe to start meddling around with his purse?
I'm just gonna give a little like, and when I catch his eye, I'm just gonna give him the little finger rub. Just to bring him a
And
little bit closer.
we see Poe go over and kind of flip the little clasp on the purse on the floor as Claudia is completely engrossed in Jackie and enamored with Jackie's immediate translation of this note. And we see Poe pull a folded piece of paper out of the purse and in a slightly eerie way, close the purse and reclamp it with her little paws.
Well
And
done.
we see her dart away and Elsie walks that way. My big question is that was an 11. For a crown, I can make it a 12. Or do we want to save a crown for later?
I'm gonna put a crown on.
Okay. Let's go ahead and put on a crown. So I
Do
owe you
it.
a void clue. You sneak off to the side and you grab this paper out of Poe's mouth and you unfold it. And it's the last 24 months of sales figures for the Black Glove Mysteries. And in the last 4 months, sales have tanked. So at no point were they anywhere near the Gold Crown Mystery level. But suspiciously, the sales numbers of the Black Glove Mysteries have tanked over the last 4 months. This is your fourth clue. It is evidence of a sharp decline in sales for the Black Glove Mysteries. So real quick, we've got the leather pumps with a secret compartment where Jackie found something inside it. We've got the broken sapphire necklace that is actually costume jewelry. We've got the anonymous message in perfect Italian that translates to the ends justify the means. And then we have evidence of a sharp decline in the sales for the Black Cub Mysteries. And as you look at that note, and it takes you a little while because you're used to sales figures, right? You look at sales figures all the time as part of your work running the bookstore. You look at it and you set it down and you think, you know what? I've offered her tea, but I haven't offered her any food. And I'm imagining some of your baked goods are always available for sale on the counter. How do you think you display that? What kind of baked goods do you sell along with your books on the counter? How does Elsie kind of sell
Uh,
that aspect of her talent?
It depends on the time of day. During the morning, she's got like muffins and bagels, and then she transitions to like fresh warm breads, and she'll have cupcakes and fudges, and she's got your standard glass fronted, slightly rounded display case of baked goods with like a cake stand that has a pile of brownies on it.
And the shop is closed, so I would imagine at this point you would have pulled the food out of there and stored what
Mhm.
hasn't sold.
For sure, of course.
So why is the entire inside of this case swarming with roaches? And unlike other things that we've seen, whether it be the eyeball in the rat's mouth or Jackie seeing eyes opening all over the place, or Jackie's seen all of these void clues. Jackie seeing the creepy images inside of this mirror. Those roaches are there, and they've infested the inside of this display case. I need a night move from Elsie.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, Elsie,
Yeah.
what are you afraid is going to happen if you lose your composure right now?
If I freak out right now, my friends are probably going to think that I'm starting to slip a little bit. I'm always a little out there, but this is kind of beyond my normal out there-ness.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to happen because it's going to scare. I mean, it's totally change the tone inside, right? And everybody's going to then see these roaches that have infested. They're contained right now inside of this display case, but
Yeah.
you scream and everybody's going to notice them, not just you, but it's going to be worse than that because not only is that going to happen where everybody's going to be a little bit like, yeah, like Elsie's losing it. Not only because she's freaking out right now, but like, does she even clean the inside of this? This is disgusting. I think if you fail this, Claudia Oro will never talk to any of the four of you again for the rest of the mystery. She's going to storm out and no longer be a resource as you guys try to solve this murder. So I need, make sure you go to your moves, take it off of advantage to normal.
Yes.
And I need you to then go down and find night move. And I need a night move with
Yes.
composure.
Composure. Okay.
Woo!
Woo!
How do you keep your cool, Elsie?
I mean, I'm just going to like kind of retreat into myself, like, no, this isn't possible. There's no way this is possible. I just did this. And I have a very clear recollection of doing this. And I'm really just kind of like slip into my normal meditative state for just a couple of minutes to kind of just clear my head before I open my eyes back up, and hopefully it is okay.
The roaches are still
there, still in
all
there.
over the place, but luckily nobody else has noticed.
I'm gonna close the door behind me.
Claudia stands up and she says, I don't know what else I can tell you, ladies. And she grabs her purse. She picks off a piece of fur from the clasp and kind of goes,
Sorry, all the cats.
You don't seem to be overly concerned about this.
Maybe we can talk to you about it tomorrow. You know, it's really getting late, and I'm very tired.
And I'm hungry.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, Miss Smith, yes, obviously, I hate that the photographer has been murdered. This is somebody that Frank recommended. I don't know this woman, and I'm sure it has nothing to do with me. I'm sure, you know, maybe you want to look into her. I don't know why you're even talking to me or why this has to be anything about me. She just happened to be somebody we hired. But I wish you ladies the best of luck.
Mm-hmm. Great. Yeah, take care. And I'm just like ushering them. Okay, we'll be in touch. Great. And I'm holding all my friends back though. See you later. Okay, bye. And I'm like locking the door behind her as soon as I get them pushed out. I'm gonna turn around with my back to the door and be like, there's like 1 million roaches in my bakery cabinet, and I don't know what's happening, but there are roaches. Oh my god. Somebody come look at them. I'm not crazy. Come on, look at them.
Geraldine, did you want to do something before Claudia left? I couldn't tell.
No. She was ushered out. It's okay.
So the door slams. We hear the ding, 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 the bell go off as the door slams. We see Elsie lock the door, and she tells you about the roaches.
Oh, so you don't have roaches.
There's roaches. I just saw them. Please come with me, and I'm just going to start going in that direction.
Well, you put the desserts away first, right?
Yes.
Oh, good. We can kill
the desserts away. There's roaches. What if they're on my food? What if they're on my food? They're going to be goods. They're going to be all in my refrigerator. Oh my god.
Maud is already reaching into her purse, pulling out a flask and handing it over to Elsie. Like,
I
just
am
casually.
gonna turn it up.
For emergencies.
I'm gonna start going into a war story about base housing and cockroach infestations. Did you know that you can have an infestation of 2 species of cockroach simultaneously?
Okay,
Please
no.
just come and look at it. Just come and look at it. I'm gonna be pulling out sage as we're going and like starting to light it.
American and German.
They're all just awful.
Why do they come in German?
I know a triangle and just going into great detail as they're going to go.
Please stop.
You guys go back to the front counter. Elsie has mentally prepared you for what you're about to see, which is a display case full of roaches. And when you get there, you have the display case. Elsie is. I love that you have sage right now. God, I love this table so much. You get to the display case, and she prepared you for a display case full of roaches. That's not quite what you see, though. She's not crazy. We see roaches escaping as they go flat through any crack, and we see them escaping. They've scattered mostly. We see a plate in the center of the display case, a plate that Elsie is sure she cleared. And on there is an eyeball.
Oh, knew it.
It's not a human eyeball. It's the half-eaten cat eyeball from the bookseller. We're going to go to credits. We'll be back on the other side. So everybody that listens to the podcast and has been watching this channel knows that I'm a huge shill for Jason's work. But a game is only as good as the table that plays it. And I really enjoy playing this game with the four of you. I really, really do. And you inspire a tremendous amount of creativity. So to pull back the curtain a little bit, the void clue that originally Elsie got by putting on that crown was a swarm of insects where food should be, right? So I grabbed that void clue on my little notes and I pulled that over to a void clue. But then I was just like, but then we created this cat at the other bookseller who we decided only has one eye, and an eye's been a big theme here in this cosmic horror piece. I'm like, I think the cat's eye needs to be inside of this thing.
I love it when a plan comes together.
So you can put either void clue there. You can put either a swarm of insects where food should be, or you can put a cat's eye found inside of the case, whatever you guys want to put. But that does put us at 9 void clues, which is very, very cool. Before we do stars and wishes, a little bit of bookkeeping. Let's first do XP triggers. Had each of you marked 3 items. One is solve a mystery, which we have not done, and then 2 other items. Did anybody hit for some XP? And it's okay if you don't, right? Like this isn't D&D.
I'm
We're
just
not trying
deciding
to level up.
whether mine counts or not.
Well, let's find out. Let's talk about it.
So I said did you show someone that you still got it? And while she didn't handle the kids in the space, when they were running out in the street, she was like, stop. And they stopped.
That's a good point, right? Yeah, like a success with the with our performer slash retailer would have
Was
definitely
bad.
triggered it. I do think like causing those kids, because here's the impression I get: Jackson and Braley are undisciplined twins. I mean,
Yes.
you can't be a disciplined child with the name Jackson nor Braley. And the fact I just knew immediately that they would freeze in their tracks, that the only person on this planet that possibly Jackson and Braley are afraid of is probably
Maud.
Aunt Maud. So yes, let's go ahead and take an XP for that. I'm good
Okay.
with that. You still got it. Anybody else?
I think I might have got one. Possibly. Because did you secretly undermine the authority
Oh,
of a local official? And I think maybe I did because
We did
my
it, hell.
my friends distracted enough for me to go snoopies.
I think you guys definitely, I think anybody who marked that should get it, because I think that's exactly what we saw in the alleyway. So if anybody, I think you definitely did it, LC, and if any of my other Mavens did it, they should mark that as well, because it's
That'll
obviously
fill my
Erica is more competent
thing too.
than anybody else we've encountered from the sheriff's office. But we'll have to see who she is and who she plays out a little bit. So yeah, no question, Elsie. Let's go ahead and mark that. Jackie, it sounds like you.
I thought for sure that I'd get more time to with the kiddies. So like I marked everything that's like kid adjacent, like doting and stuff. But I think maybe if we stretch it, I shared my wisdom with a young person by letting them know that it's best to be traumatized early so you can build up that nice thick skin.
You know what I went
is-
to? I didn't go there when you said that. What I was thinking about is your discussion with your doppelganger.
Oh, also yes, you need to update
Yeah.
your book child.
Yep. So I think you should definitely mark that.
That's fun.
Definitely
That's
mark
level.
that.
Haha.
Oh, we got to level up. All right.
Nice.
I got to level up as well.
Ooh, so we're gonna find out at the beginning of next episode how you guys spend that for your next level up, because you guys can either add a +1 to one of your abilities, or you can add a Maven move. I meant to ask you, Shadika, you leveled up from last time. What did you decide to do for your level up?
Bring up the sensitivity level.
I think your encounters and interactions with Salty Nancy, you have been the most direct connection to the midwives of the Fragrant Void. So you moving up sensitivity makes a ton of sense to me. All right. Any other last triggers?
I would say I didn't dote and I didn't share my wisdom.
Okay. So next I had some crowns marked. So who owes me a crown?
I do.
I do.
All right. So let's let you do yours, Amy. That'll give Navi a chance to decide which one she marked. So which one did you
So we
mark,
can
Amy?
choose any of them. Yes.
Anyone that hasn't been marked yet.
Okay. I'm going to do a Crown of the Void. And I'm going to take the
Ooh.
Chariot, which is where your reason modifier is reduced by 1 and your sensitivity modifier is increased by 1, which I think makes a lot of sense now that she's been like face to face with this punch of supernatural.
I love that. So go ahead and go into your character sheet and go ahead and make that adjustment. I think that makes a ton of sense considering what Elsie's been through. How about for you, Jackie? Which one did you mark?
I'm going to do a scene in the present day showing a private side of Jackie that very few get to see.
Ooh, I can't wait for this.
Ooh.
Me too.
I think it's after all of the eyeballs and now constantly seeing the thing in the mirror, because she can never quite see it when she tries to look at it, but she can catch it if she catches it in the reflection. So she's not convinced that she's losing her mind. She's more. There was a moment where she was concerned about that, but now she's really thinking there's something strange going on, which makes her feel like actually she might be losing her mind because she believes that this is so real. So in the scene, it's just Jackie in like her night robe, like just a robe, disheveled, and she's laying on the floor with an empty bottle of bourbon, and she's talking to the urn that has her late wife in it, and she's just spilling her heart about all of the things that she's seen and how she can't confide in anyone else because she thinks that she sounds bonkers. So she's completely without composure and slurring her words. And if anyone walked in, it would be really embarrassing.
Screw you, Navi. You got me in the feels a little bit. That was really good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was
That one
really,
a
really
little-
good. And it totally fits Jackie, right? So we've built Jackie up to be this incredibly composed woman who has now, more than any of the other Mavens, has seen this other side, right? And like to witness on top of all of it, all of those, the eyeball situation that happened in that alleyway, like for Jackie to have 3 close friends but only feel vulnerable in front of her late wife, that's pretty well done, Navi. You have a future in role playing.
Oh, God.
All right, so let's do some quick plugs. Let's start off with Amy. Amy, what do you want to plug?
What? You can find me at Endless Night Gaming on all the things. If it exists, that's my name on it. Find me
Maeve,
on everything.
Maeve, what do you want to plug?
So I have, we're still sort of like rebuilding, rebranding over at Foxtail Games, but we got some stuff in the, that'll probably be hitting in January. So look for that. Also, you can find me on a lot of stuff over at Project Derailed, all their podcasts, Fables Around the Table, that sort of thing, playing games here and there. They're all fantastic. So beyond just like listening for me, please go check them out. They just finished, doing a mothership game called Continuum that is one of the best APs I've ever heard. It's fantastic. So go listen to that.
So Maeve, there's somebody watching right now that has never gone to Foxtail Games before.
Mhm.
They go find the podcasts and they've got a couple options. Where should they start? So what do you think is the first run that they should listen to on the
You got to listen to our Curse of the House of Rookwood. We have Amy is in it, friend of the show Nathan is, from Court of Blades is in it. The Nick Westbrook is in it, and exciting announcement, we are working on a reunion show, so there will be a short run Curse of the House of Rookwood reunion coming up, and I am so excited to find out what happened to our Rookwoods later
The
on.
micro brainstorm we did on that, Maeve, got me super excited about it.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Anyone who doesn't know what Curse of the House of Rookwood is, it is such a fantastic game. You can find it over on itch. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Listening to Maeve, and this is where it's Amy's work on that I was like, I need to get Amy on everything. It's a very clever game, so I bought it after Maeve turned me on to it, and there's a day where we're going to run it on this channel. It's a very, very clever game. And what I love is 2 things. One, as written, I think it's a phenomenal game, but you should listen to what Maeve did with it, because Maeve transported it to a different place in a different time, and you wouldn't know that. Like I anticipated one setting when I bought the book and read it. I'm like, oh, look what you did, Maeve. This is not what's in the book. So it's definitely worth buying the game and reading it. But the transposition of setting and tone that Maeve did to run it on her pod is well worth it. Navi. Everybody watching right now needs more Navi. So where do they go?
Lord. So of course on the big formerly Bird site, you can find me at Navi Music. On Threads now, I'm at a couple of Drakes. I've taken our official business name, decided that I am now the spokesperson because I feel like we needed one that was actually properly branded, and everybody's moving over to Threads. So like now it's just me though, so that's kind of awful. But but as far as plugs,
You mispronounced awesome.
Court of Blades is in this month's bundle of Holding. So if you want to snag Court of Blades and Blades in the Dark, if you've never done Forge in the Dark and you want to get your
You
feet wet,
do.
you can
I
get a
do.
lot of Forge in the Dark bang for your buck in the bundle of Holding right now. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Me go
and
order it right now.
Brian was just in the chat, and in the chat he said Court of Blades is so good because Brian and I had a chance to play it.
Yeah.
Court is on my
Yeah.
list. Court
With
is
your other
absolutely on my
your other
list.
half ran a game. If you have not watched our Court of Blades run here on the channel, it was really a really cool experience because not only is the amazing because it's not just a port, it's a Forge in the Dark that reimagines what is possible. And you know, I talked about if you listen to all the after credits, I just gush over Sean because what you and your husband did here is the DNA of Blades is there, but it's a totally different tone. It's a totally different feel. It's a totally different theme. I've played Blades before, but playing Court was a completely different game using mechanics I was familiar with, which in my opinion is the best way to use an SRD, right? Which is, I know mechanically what's going on right now, but this is not the same game. So yeah, highly recommend it. If you can get in a bundle of Holding, for crying out loud, that's a crime.
Yeah,
Gorgeous
other good
artwork,
stuff
too.
in there too. Diogo's Cosmosaurs is in there. It's
Oh,
good
I didn't
stuff.
know that.
Uh-huh.
So you know what's
Oh,
bad about
snap.
me? You want to hear a secret about me, Navi?
Get 'em back.
I cannot buy these bundle of Holdings because I already own so many
All the
games.
books. I know. I have every single book that is in the bundle of Holding this time, and I'm still like, guys, go get it. It's good.
I know. So like I saw the
What an
bundle of
awful
Holding, I'm like,
problem.
holy shit. So I went to it. I'm like, I've got that. I've got Diego's game. I've already got all these games. But if you don't, like, even if you're only missing 2 of the games, it's still cheaper to get the bundle of Holding.
Yeah. Mhm.
Shadika, what would you like to
Oh.
plug?
Whoa. Well, first and foremost, everyone here. Amazing table. But I guess I'll plug my social medias. Everyone can find me at Dika Goody on everything possible, actually.
So there's someone watching right now, Shadika. There's just like, everybody was great, but I need more Shadika. Of all the plays, because you've been on multiple plays here on the channel.
Yeah.
If someone wants to watch another play with you in it,
Oh my
of
gosh.
all the ones you've been in, which one would you recommend they go to?
I would say probably the most different one is Fear Itself 2. The second Fear Itself that we've done.
Invasive Procedures.
Invasive Procedures. Yes. That one was
Ooh.
very
Sounds
different
terrifying.
vibe than what I typically would role play.
Yeah, and everybody was great, and you were a little bit better.
Okay.
Yeah, because you end up, and I'm not going to spoil anything,
Mhm.
but you have a very important role at the end of it. And it was a perfect example of story emerging from play where we saw a player embrace a character. Like you just went into her skin and became her by the end of that run. And the ending of Invasive Procedures, you are the star of that ending, and it all made sense. And it was all natural, and it was a perfect example of what's possible in this hobby. And I will tell you, for those of you that are GMs, it's a good example of, don't write a story that make your players play it. Set the scene and follow your players, because what they're going to come up with is going to be much greater than anything you would have imagined. And I think Invasive Procedures is a great example of that. Great example of that. All right, guys, you guys know the routine. Like and subscribe, all that baloney. Got a Patreon and whatnot. But we'll see you in 24 with some more Brindlewood Bay.
See you next year.
See
Yay.
everyone.
Cheers.
Yay!
Howdy, friends. Thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Take care.